Following breaking news on CBS Sports HQ, the league and the players' union have reached a settlement in the Deshaun Watson case. He will be suspended for 11 games and fined $5 million. That's the latest from our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. Watson was accused by 24 women of sexual misconduct in civil court. Now, all but one of those cases has been settled. Watson will be eligible to return in Week 13 when the Browns take on the Houston Texans, who, of course, traded into Cleveland back in March. As you take a look at the Browns' schedule, you can see those opening weeks where they will be without Deshaun Watson. Week 13 is the one that we're keying on when he is eligible to return. They start against the Carolina Panthers. We take a look at the Browns' trade with the Houston Texans. They got Deshaun Watson and a 6th-round pick did the Browns, and Houston receives 3 first-round picks, as well as a 4th-round pick, 3rd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick in 2024. All right, let's bring in senior NFL writer Pete Prisco to talk about this. Pete, first I'll get your reaction to the suspension. Is this kind of what you expected to happen between these two?
No, I thought it would be a year, and I thought it would be up to $10 million. I'll be honest with you. I think $5 million is an insult because he's making $230 million in guaranteed money, and that doesn't count what he made last year when he didn't play. So $5 million, that's a drop in the bucket for this guy. As far as the 11 games, I thought it would be a year. I was wrong. 11 games, still a stiff penalty, but not quite what I expected.
Pete, so in terms of where the Browns go from here, I mean, they know they're going to be without Watson for 11 games. This is a team that is built to win now. So what happens at the quarterback position moving forward, do you think?
Well, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be in play, particularly if the 49ers release him, which they are going to do. It's just a matter of if anybody reaches out before he is released and tries to make a deal with him. I can't imagine the Browns would do that in terms of trading something for him because they know the 49ers are going to release him, but I think that's a strong possibility. If not, you play with Jacoby Brissett. And all they've said all summer was how great he's looked and how he can lead the team. Well, now you're going to find out because you have 11 games without Deshaun Watson. And not only that, you have 5 of those games against teams that were in the playoffs last year and also some really good teams that weren't in the playoffs last year, like the Chargers. So it's a brutal slate. The good thing is the easy part is the beginning of that schedule, and it looks like they did him a favor, kind of taking into account that it might be a suspension of some sort, because when you look at the open part of that schedule, it's Carolina and the Jets, the Steelers. I mean, it's not a real tough road to open the season for them.
So, Pete, how important is it, do you think, for the Browns to get off to a good start here because of the fact that they are going to be without Watson? And as mentioned, this is a team that's built to win now. You mentioned that schedule, not exactly a gauntlet with the Jets and the Falcons in those first 4 weeks, but things really start to tighten up with the Chargers, Patriots, Ravens, and Bengals before the bye week.
Yeah, it gets really tough for them, and it's a brutal division. I mean, you look at them in that division, the Bengals are the best team in the division. I think the Ravens are the second best team in the division, and the Browns, without Deshaun Watson, might be the 4th team in the division. That's how different they are without him. Now, do I think he's a star of stars like most people do? Absolutely not. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but they're going to miss him because there's a big drop down to Jacoby Brissett. Kevin Stefanski's brilliant when it comes to running offensive football. You know they want to run it. You want to make it easy on the quarterback. They will do that for Jacoby Brissett. And he'll have some plays with the way they run that scheme where he'll look really good. But I think in the long run, they're going to be a much different offense than they would have been with Deshaun Watson. And if they can get through the 11 games with 5 victories, that would be a huge accomplishment.
Pete, when you look at the odds, I mean, obviously all the odds taken off the board because of the fact that the Deshaun suspension is now, of course, finalized at 11 games. But when you look before the suspension, their odds to win the division at 4-1, to win the AFC 13-1. To win a championship, 25-1. I mean, how do you see things changing in terms of the odds right now without Watson for 11 games?
Oh, they're going to go up. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They have to go up. Anybody who thinks that team can win a Super Bowl or even the division without Deshaun Watson playing 11 games is crazy. So I don't think they're going to win the division. I don't think those odds will stay the same. I think they're going to really go up. Here's the other thing. He did not look very good last week. Now, I know it's the preseason, but when you don't play football for a long time, it impacts you. So now we're talking about an entire season plus 11 games before he gets back. And everybody's going to say, oh, he'll just step in and be the same guy. Well, you can't count on that either. You don't know. Practice is one thing, games are different. So this could be a scenario where the Browns struggle this season, and then they say, okay, it's all behind me. Let's move forward next season.
Pete, if you're a Browns fan, are you happy with this decision or are you unhappy?
With the suspension or with the signing? I mean, you can look at it either way.
Right.
I mean, the suspension, they're probably okay. They probably thought he'd get less, but they're okay with it, the fact that he's going to be back. The signing, you're talking about $230 million of guaranteed money for a guy who probably will not have played, well, he won't have played for almost 2 seasons, and by the time he probably plays meaningful games, it's going to be 3. It'll be next year. So that's a long time to have your quarterback sit out. It could pay off in the long run. I personally think he's a tad on the overrated side. I think he's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, and he's getting paid like a great quarterback.
Senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joining us to discuss the breaking news. Deshaun Watson's suspension has been finalized at 11 games and a fine of $5 million. Thanks very much, Pete.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.